live in a world where femininity, marriages, family, and courting is no longer valued. We live in hookup culture, situationships, and struggle love. The number one reason women struggle in long-term relationships, number one, femininity, and number two, staying in a relationship or entertaining people longer than the woman should.
My name is Danielle DeVita, and I'm a relationship and femininity coach. I've been married for 12 years, and I want to help you get on your feminine journey and vet for the right man today. For more of my content, you can visit MrsDanielleDeVita.com, or you can go to YouTube, Instagram, or my Facebook page. Get on your feminine journey today. Danielle DeVita back with another video. I overheard someone say that marriage is overrated. A lot of women say, I like the strong silent type. Well, a lot of men like the feminine silent type. And for sure, it's going down. So a lot of times people are not getting the value. When to speak and when to be quiet is one of the most powerful. She's going to be aggressive thinking that. And as someone who's been married for 12 years, she's driven, not lazy. And this will make yourself and get on the right path. That understand that you might be doing a disservice to your daughter. If you don't help her understand vetting and proper decision making, now she's going to be a basket case later. If you don't help her understand emotional intelligence, she's going to hold on to a lot of emotional baggage. If you don't Welcome. My name is Danielle DeVita. So I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my content today. So I have a live stream for you. But first, let's get to housekeeping rules. So why I do what I do. I am a relationship and femininity coach, and my goal is to help both men and women find the person that's best for them. And in doing so, I've also put my knowledge into a book. So I have a book that'll be coming out actually in a few weeks. And that book is called Command Respect from the Woman You Want. This book is for men. Or it could be for teenage boys. So I think this book encompasses all the things that women would do, what women would like to see in a man, what a woman, a true woman, would want to respect. Right. So if you want a woman to respect you, these are a set of things that you would do. I've gone over this with my husband, with other men, and gotten advice before I've written this book. So I think this is a great book. Look out. This book will be coming out very soon. But don't think I forgot about you ladies. I have a book that's coming out for women, and that'll be in the next month or so, maybe next few months. I have two books, one for women, and that is Girl, Go Get Your Husband. I also have a book for teenage girls, and it's called Boy Bye. So look out for those very soon, coming into the early spring. All right. If you want to join the conversation, go ahead and click in the comment area and go ahead and place your comments. You can call the number on your screen, 813-816-1813, or you can join the conversation live by clicking on that link, and it'll bring you onto the live stream. So today I'm going to give you a real life example of, about relationship coaches that I don't think you should listen to. And this is not a create beef or anything like that. But the reason why I'm talking about this is I saw a guy put on one of my streams, and he said, not another relationship coach. And you know what? My brother, I feel you, because I understand that we live in this era where everyone wants to become this coach, but everyone's not living the lifestyle that they're trying to portray and the lifestyle that they're telling everyone else to live. Right? We have people like Derek Jackson that's telling women, this is what you should look for in a man. And all the while, he's that very man. He is that man that's cheating on his wife. Right? He's that man that's not living up to the things that he's saying you should accept from your man. Right? And then we have this person right here, and I'm pretty sure there's others. But we have this person right here that's saying you should be careful who you listen to, but she's not there. Her mindset is not there. So we're going to digest a lot of the things that she's saying. I have no personal beef with her, but she represents, she's going to be a catalyst today for a lot of people who do want to be coaches, right? So just to give you a little background on me, because people say, well, why should we listen to you? You really don't have to listen to me. And of course, I don't have all the answers. I think when you've been married for 50 years, you might have a great deal of answers, right? But I've been married for going on 13 years. But I'm sharing what I know from my point of view, because I know that a lot of people my age tend to not want to listen to older people. And then you definitely don't want to listen to people who are too young because they don't have enough experience. So I'm 36 years old. I've been married since 22 or something like that. So I'm telling you, as someone who's in this era, who's got married young, what it's like to have been married, what it's like being in relationships, how I got into that relationship, and how I made it successful, right? And I'm speaking from past relationships, from men that I've spoken to about different situations and how they think and how they feel. And these are not just any men. I mean, just different backgrounds, different income status, because I've you know talked to men who have a great deal of money, some who have just average money, and then some who really don't have much, and what they all have to say. And there's a lot of things that they're saying in common, which is a lot of women lack femininity at the end of the day, right? And it's not to say that there's some men that are not walking in their masculinity, but we're not doing the point the finger today every time we talk about one particular group. So we are going to talk today about this particular person here, because there are some people I don't think you should listen to. If you're listening to someone and they're in the same boat you are, why listen to them? If you want to be married, you probably should listen to someone who's married. If you want to be, if you're a man and you're listening and you want to be masculine, you should listen to a man who's masculine. If you are a woman and you want to be feminine, you should listen to a feminine woman. So we have to listen to people that is what we want. If you're trying to make money, would you listen to a person who's either broke or in the same boat you are trying to get money, or would you listen to someone who's actually become successful in obtaining money and resources? Right. So let's take a listen to this. Okay, so let's put us side by side here, and we are going to play this and break it down. And I think her name is Sansare Monique. So, and again, no shade, but I don't think she's the best relationship coach to listen to. And we're going to talk about it.
Social media trying to one up each other and get all this relationship advice from people who really don't want to see y'all unify with each other. What a lot of these people are doing when they get on social media and give you relationship advice, they want the views and the people following behind them. They aren't genuinely a relationship coach or a life coach. They're out here just looking for some attention.
Okay, now listen, she's right about that. There are a lot of people who are out here and they are just on here, but they don't even know what they're talking about. They're giving false information, things that are going to keep you single, or they're part of that divisive group, right? The one that's saying be with this group, that race, this, that. So they're separating people either by gender and race. They're creating these types of wars, right? And then we're going to listen to all of this knowledge she has, and then how she's living it out, right?
That I just randomly woke up one day and decided that I was going to give relationship advice because the trend right now is being a dating coach. But a lot of you don't understand is that I have been doing this since I was in my early 20s, and I am currently 41. I was a dating coach for men for 10 plus years, almost 20. And I didn't start giving women relationship advice until 2016. Women often ask me, how can they find a quality man or a high value man? And I try to explain to women, like, the best thing that you can do for yourself is being a quality or high value woman yourself. Securing your own bag is not a masculine trait. It is part of self-care. It's part of being feminine. In order to create a luxury lifestyle for yourself, you have to have financial stability. And a lot of young women don't know what to try, so I'm going to give you a suggestion.
All right, so I'm going to stop right here for a quick second. Having the bag, so if you don't know what that means, is basically getting money, securing money by some way, shape, or form. A lot of times when you hear women say get the bag, they are referring to the man as the bag because he's the one with the resources, the money, and stuff like that. But she's talking about securing your own bag, get your own money. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being successful and all those things. This is my concern. This is not just her. But I feel like as a society, people are telling women, get an education, get the money, get what you need to get. Nothing wrong with that. But it's like a period. It stops there. At what point are we going to teach women how to have emotional intelligence, how to be feminine, how to be ladylike, how to carry ourselves. And a lot of times when we hear these types of things, that women that are doing that, it's women of a certain social status. These are the women who are telling women how to be ladylike or how to carry themselves, right? You know, women who have of high class, high society. I think all women should not only learn how to be independent if they have to be, right? How to take care of yourself, because at the end of the day, we cannot just fully rest on men. You could get married and something could happen to him and he's no longer around, and you're going to need to know how to do things on your own. That's a given. But in the meantime, can we also learn how to do things other than just be independent? I just feel like as a society, we're taught as women, get a job, go to college, get an education. Can we be taught also how to be feminine, how to have emotional intelligence? Because as women, we're emotional creatures. So can we be taught how to have emotional intelligence? Now, I can say I have been taught that. I have. Everyone's not like me. Everyone's mom isn't like my mom, right? So I just wish that we were taught how to just be feminine overall, like ways that if we have to toughen up, fine. But can we be taught how to be gentle and soft? Is that okay? Is there something wrong with that? Is there something wrong with how to carry ourselves, how to protect our image, our brand? So I wouldn't say that, because she's not the only one that just goes into this. That's not what high value means. I feel like as a society, just for men and women are taught high value equals high earning, when that's not the case. High value can encompass being a high earner, but it also encompasses being of good character, being noble people. I feel like we are just so not noble these days. We are not honorable people. Let's be taught that to be high value is someone who encompasses a good character trait. All right, so let's keep going.
Invest in yourself. Invest your time and energy into something that's going to produce multiple sources of income.
So now, for someone who says that she's a life coach, and again, this is not just her. I'm just using this video because every time I'm using all these movies and make believe stuff, on top of having to deal with copyright, people are not getting an understanding of how real life situations look. This is a woman who is telling you how to be, how to love yourself and whatever, all these things that a life coach says. So she's a relationship coach. She gives dating advice, but she says reasons why she gave up on Black love. So when I read that, I think not that how she just gave up on relationships, but relationships with people in her group. And you've seen me do videos on the whole divestment movement. It's not a race issue; it's a mindset issue, right? And that's both ways. So if you're having issues with Black women, or if you're having issues with Black men, and if you're a non-Black and you're watching and you feel like the issues are people within your own group, it's not a race issue. Although culture can affect how people behave in relationships, it's a mindset thing, right? And I can promise you, people of different across the world are probably having some of the same issues you have. If a whole bunch of women can get together, they can all have the same commonality when it comes to men, and then men will have the same commonality, same issues as it arise with women, no matter where they are in the world, right? So she says reasons in this. I muted it because there's music and I don't want to have copyright issues. So it says reasons why I gave up on Black love. A lot of Black marriages fail because of infidelity, domestic violence, and incarceration. And then she goes to number 2. Successful Black men are more likely to marry interracial or remain bachelors. And then she moves to the third reason, which is Black women are more likely to marry if we open up dating all races of men. The average Black man is comfortable with abandoning his own children. Now that was number 4 for her. And I think this is personal. This is why she says this, which I'll go into that later. I think that could be an issue across the board, not an issue regarding race, but that goes to who you open your legs to, who you give your womb to, protecting your womb, making proper decisions before doing that. Then she says, Black men are the lowest in the economic ladder and make the least amount of money. Number 6, Black men have pinned Black women as everything that is wrong with the Black community. I have to disagree with that, because if anything, there's more content about how Black women put everything on Black men and everything what's wrong with the community. Black men are the leaders and they're not leading, and this is why we are the way we are. Black men have, there's domestic violence. Black men are cheating. Black men are making all these babies. Black men are I hear more content about women divesting from Black men than men are. And the men that are doing that is, you hear about the MGTOW and the men going their own way. And then you hear about now the passport vote. So this is kind of like men's way of divesting, but they're divesting from all of modern women. And whereas a lot of Black women are just trying to get rid of the idea of just only being with Black men because they've been unsuccessful at that. Again, mindset issue, not race issue, at least in my opinion. Then she says right here, on number 7, the future Russell argument, Black men don't want to be honorable men. They call the good guys squares, simps, and lames. Now, maybe it's just me, but I feel like the people who are calling the good guys squares, simps, and lames are Black women. Most Black women say, I don't want to date these kind of guys because they're lame. They call them the educated lame. Now, let's be honest. I'm tired of hearing this future Russell thing, because most women would consider Russell, if he did not have the money or the status that he has, they would consider him a lame. He's good looking. But if you just stripped him from his football title and he was just a regular Black man walking down the street, but he still looked like him, but he didn't have that money and that status, you would consider him a lame. But he does not look lame because he has the resources, money, the title, and now he has Sierra with him. This is why you don't consider him as lame. But you've always thought Future was the opposite of a lame, a simp, or a square. But that's neither here or there. But I just think that this is one of her reasons. But I just think that that narrative is a little false, because I think it's the opposite. Most women call guys who just look boring and lame as the guys who's not as, don't exude a lot of masculinity, which could be the athletic type, which could be the school jock, right? Which could be the the guy who has all the money and stuff like that's flashy and things like that. These are the guys that most women are going after, the bad boy type of style, right? The street dude, all of these things, the thugs, right? Not to say all women like those things, because I'm not a fan of those things, but a lot of women do like them. It's plain and simple, right? So let's keep going here.
Because when I think about my 4-year-old son, I'm like, I wish I would have had my 4-year-old son with my daughter's father, because my daughter is 21.
Now listen, she got a 21-year-old and a 4-year-old. Why am I pointing that out? Because now she's been coaching all this time. She said she's been coaching for what, 10, 20 years, what she was saying. So all this time you've been coaching, and you still having all these issues that we about to go into with men. Your baby's father, she mentioned in another video that they have a good co-parenting relationship. Cool. That's 20 years ago. So the relationships that you had in between then, because you've been coaching for quite some time. So that means you've been coaching ever since you kind of broke it off with him. Because if your daughter's like 20 something and you said you've been coaching for about 20 years, you've been coaching ever since you've parted ways with the father of your first child. Now, here you are with a 4-year-old, and we about to go into how you got this 4-year-old. And the reason why this is important is because we are listening to people, and the advice they give, it sounds good. It sounds, if you don't know what to look for, but people are going through their own mess and coaching you and not taking their own advice. So we're going to get into it. Real quick here, we have a comment. Brandon McGowan, thank you for taking the time to listen once again today. We have a returning viewer here. I'm not giving up on Black love. More like men today are giving up hope in the U.S. on dating and talk and taking pride of taking pride of love to foreign nations. Yes, the passport bros he's speaking about. And for me, to the motherland of civilization called Africa. Yes. All right. Here we go. Let's continue on.
An amazing father, but my son's father is the biggest piece of shit I've ever met. This man created a
Apologize for the cursing. I tried to cut out what I could.
whole persona, a whole person to pretend to be just to get with me. Claim he wanted to be married, wanted kids. We sitting here engaged, looking for a place. Common sense should have told me that was a recipe for a whole disaster. When I was on the phone with a wife, she's like, oh my God, I'm so glad he moved on. I'm in love with somebody else. Bitch was being too nice and was like throwing her husband at me. Lying? Only for her to want him back later on when she found out I was pregnant. Women do strange things for strange reasons.
So now let me explain what she's saying right here, because and this is accountability. Can we bring accountability back? Because a lot of people do not want to hold themselves accountable for their own actions. So if you notice, it's almost like she's blaming someone else. She's blaming the father of her 4-year-old and his wife. So if you're not understanding this, this man said that he was going to leave his wife, and they just started a relationship. So she was with a married man, a man who was still technically married but separated. And I think I talked about this before about being with married men. What people fail to realize is just because people say they are separated doesn't mean that there is not a chance they would get back with their spouse. In this case, this is what he did. He cut ties with his wife, even though he wasn't legally divorced, had a relationship with her, was going to get married with her. They were engaged, and all of a sudden she's pregnant. And then now the wife wants him back, and he just drops everything and goes back with his wife. And she's saying the wife made her believe that she didn't want him, because she said, good, you can take him. I moved on too. But apparently they haven't moved on, because both of them got back together, and she's there left, not married to the guy she was going to be engaged with, and now pregnant. This is a 4-year-old child. She already had a child 20 years ago. So that means through all the lessons you're giving everyone, all these 20 years, you haven't learned anything. All of this advice you're providing, you haven't learned anything. You haven't learned who to give your womb to. You haven't learned how to, determine if this person, we can say people deceive us, but everybody ain't that great of an actor. Hollywood is not full of a whole bunch of, people who, if that was the case, Hollywood would be full of a whole bunch of people who just could act. Everybody is not that great of an actor or an actress. I think that there are signs that we overlook because we are blinded by love. It happens to the best of us, including me. It's happened to me, right? But as you mature and get older, you will learn what to look for, right? And so this is why I give the advice I give on vetting. Vetting is using your proper decision skills and intuition to make sure you're in the right relationship with the right person, right? And so this is a man that she was in. The first thing that she messed up is being with someone who technically has not finalized a divorce. That was the first mistake. So that's how this all panned out. And then, of course, unprotected intercourse and all of those things. All right. So now I'm assuming this is a different man that she's about to talk about. A different man other than the one that the guy was married, right? Another man that she was engaged to, but he was cheating on her. So this is a separate man from the one we were just talking about. Here we go.
Oh, and without me even having attitude, I'm like, hey, my name is Sansare. I am like dating such and such, right? And I just wanted to know what was going on between the two of y'all. Like, I'm the side chick in the situation, right? And I'm like, chick, this dude and I are about to get married, and you over here screaming at me like he your man. I ain't even bothered telling that chick I was pregnant.
Okay. I feel like this was a soap opera I just finished watching. Because, and hey, if there's more that you guys want to give me from other people who are saying that they are relationship coaches and they are not living what they're saying, I don't even think she realized all the stuff that she just put out there. You mean to tell me you've been a relationship coach for nearly 20 years and you are in relationships? You've had relationships with 3 men. They've all been unsuccessful. Your firstborn child's father, Co-parenting is good, but that didn't turn into a marriage, right? Then you have another man who apparently she said he was sick. He got into a coma. She looks to his phone, finds out he's cheating. She calls this woman, and then that was the altercation that she's like, well, you're mad at me, but you're the side chick. I'm about to be engaged. And, well, she was actually engaged, going to be married in a week, and find out that, he was cheating and end up pregnant. I don't know what happened with that pregnancy. I don't know if what came from that. So, and then now you get in a relationship with another man and he's married but separated. And you believe that he's going to divorce his wife, get with you. You guys go all through the engagement just for him to leave you to go back to his wife. But you're pregnant now with your 4-year-old child. So we have people here that are giving advice and they're not living it. It would be unfair for me to sit here and give you all the advice on how to be feminine, how to have emotional intelligence, how to show that you love your spouse, and for me to turn this camera off and go and curse my husband out. To, go and be everything that I say I'm not. And we all fall short. I always talk about being the best version of yourself, and no one's perfect, right? So every day you're going to have to be striving to be the best, because you're never going to truly arrive to the best. But emotionally and mentally, you can try to operate in doing that, right? You can try your best and to be mindful to operate. And of course, we're going to fall short. But she's purporting out to be someone who has all the advice that you shouldn't listen to other people because other people are pretending. But she's saying, I've been doing this for a while, and all the while she's in the same boat as you. For you viewers who are looking for love and trying to find the right relationship, and you're frustrated with Black love and you're frustrated with love altogether, you're listening to her for advice and people just like her. And all the while she's struggling just like you. She doesn't even know how to be in a successful relationship. This is the point that I'm trying to make. She doesn't know how to be in a successful relationship, how to maintain a successful relationship. She doesn't know technically how to be high value. She's telling you how to be high value, but that means money for her. Right? And even if she's not, yelling and screaming and having masculine qualities, even if that's not the case, vetting is part of, part of this. You have to know how to vet, how to make proper decisions. And that includes who you give your womb to, who you entertain, the type of relationships you enter in. There's other videos where she got frustrated and started doing those relationships that are poly, where you get into multiple relationships with different people. So they're not it's not a monogamous relationship. So I can't remember all what she was saying, but she was trying out all these different relationships to see what would work. And so I'm listening, and why I'm listening is because I don't like to sit there and have a conversation about someone's in their video, and I didn't get a chance to understand her mindset. So I listened to a few of her videos, and I'm sitting here like, I just don't understand. I don't understand how someone can be a coach and they have these level of problems, the same problems that their viewers have. How can you be a coach? What do you have to say? Where's your success stories? Because I'm not seeing one here. Right? And why is this all important? You may say, well, why? Who cares what she does? Who cares the followers that are listening to her? A lot of damage can be done listening to the wrong people. I did a video a while ago about certain men you can't listen to. I talked about it, whether what they're saying is true. Sometimes it's divisive. Sometimes it stirs too much wrath. Sometimes the things that people say is just ill-advised. Sometimes people are just giving the wrong advice. You got your meddling friends giving you advice. Girl, go on and do this. He cheated on you. You can cheat on him too. What kind of advice is that? How is that helping the relationship? Well, girl, if he's not giving you what you need, then you can go somewhere else. How is that helping? Oh man, if she getting big or she ain't dressing right, then go and get with someone else. That's her fault. What kind of advice is this? My advice for you is to maybe I have to go back to crossroads, because I think the crossroads is what's pivotal in most relationships. This is the point where people could either turn away from that relationship and move on, or find a way to make the relationship work in a positive way. So I'm going to have to talk about crossroads again. I talked about it with Kyle Barker, which I'm not going to play that video. But this is where Kyle Barker, if you watch Living Single, he's having a conversation with Max, and she's not doing what he wants. She's not providing what he wants out of a relationship. And he's saying, why do I have to have this tug of war with you? Why is there an argument? I'm saying I want these things. And if you can't give it, that's okay. I'm not going to make you. But maybe I should leave. And this is what he does. And this is what some of you guys need to do. You guys, I said there's two reasons why people are not in successful relationships. One, they lack femininity, because a lot of women have issues with being feminine. Men have issues with being masculine in some ways. So when you step in your masculinity as a man, you step in your femininity as a woman, that will go a long way, right? The other thing is both men and women are in relationships longer than they need to be in. What? So you have some type of standard that's not being met. You have some type of deal breaker, and you're going to address it when that time comes. When that issue comes, you address it with that person and say, hey, on the first date, I said, this is what I valued in a partner. This is what I said I wanted out of a relationship. I wanted something serious. I wanted this. I wanted that. And I wanted, some type of serious and emotional connection. And I'm not getting that from you. What do I need to do? What do we need to do to make this relationship work? What needs to happen so we can build the trust? What needs to happen so we can build the respect? What needs to happen? So you need to have these conversations, address it, not just go and cheat, not just walk away, not just ghost. Now, I say if you're in the first 2 weeks, ghosting to me is fine, because you don't owe them anything. But I think it's at least healthy to have some type of simple conversation. You don't have to be drawn out, but this relationship isn't working out because I'm not getting X, Y, and Z. And I said, this is what I wanted. And, but sometimes I think it's good to, especially if it's minor. If it's big, then you can walk away. But if it's minor, give the opportunity for people to change. And then when they don't change, then you walk away. A lot of times we keep giving changes after change, like chance after chance after chance. That right there is not patience. That is not giving grace. That is tolerance. And tolerance is not something that should be in a relationship. You don't tolerate poor behavior, right? A job won't do that. If they tell you, they give you what? A verbal, a written, and then you terminate it. Treat your relationship in that same format. You bring it up, and then when you're married, of course, you don't just terminate a marriage like that. It's going to require more work. But when you're not married, you can do that. You can just kind of cut things off, right? So I'm going to tell you a quick story. This is for both men and women, whoever listen. If you ever watched the TV show, The Game, and there is a woman there named Tasha Mack. Tasha Mack is played by Wendy Raquel Robinson. And this is a woman who was very feisty, very quick-witted. She was quick with the mouth, very mouthy. And she was with this guy, and he said, I don't really like how you handle situations in the way that you do. I don't mind you saying what you have to say, but you get boisterous and too loud, and it causes a conflict. And she was like, fine. And then she's like, all right, I'll work on it. Fine. And then it became to a point where that was put to test. And all of that went out the window, being mindful of it. And she just blew up at someone. And he's like, this was my friend, and you blew up at my friend. I wish that it's not that you shouldn't be upset. I just wish you handled it better, handled it in a way that we discussed before on how to handle situations when you're upset. And she justified why she did what he did. And he left. He said, I'm not changing you. You do what you do, but I can't be with someone like this. So some of you all need to do that. And this situation may not apply to you. It may not be the fact that people are are not emotionally intelligent, because in this situation, Tasha is not emotionally intelligent. She doesn't know how to harness her emotions, right? In an intelligent and a mature way, which some people also call emotional maturity. So this may not be your situation. So you don't have to apply it to this situation, but you can apply it to another situation. Maybe it is, how the other person carries himself, whether it's in their dress or how their actions, right? Maybe it is in how they are disrespectful, right? They're not respecting you in their actions and their words. And this could go both ways, whether it's a man or a woman. This could be how someone, curses you out, or how they either put hands on you, how they are handle just communication altogether, whether they are hiding things, they're being deceitful, they're lying, whatever it is. So at the end of the day, the point that I'm trying to make is you should have crossroads, and that determines who you're going to be in a relationship with and how long you're going to be in a relationship with them if you're in the dating phase. When you're married, hopefully you've done this so you can be in the proper marriage that you need to be in. But all this is to say is we listen to the wrong people and we're wondering why we're in the relationships we need to be in. At the end of the day, it's vetting and crossroads. But we're listening to other people who are not in successful relationships. And I hope that after listening to this, you realize that you can't listen to everyone. You don't know their lifestyles. Everyone's not going to do what she did and pretty much put it out there. But I'm saying find someone who you believe that is successful, and don't just take advice without properly applying it into your situation. All right. So again, thank you so much for listening to my content. I'm running over my time because I definitely don't want to be long-winded, but I want to make sure we're listening to the right people, because there's plenty of people online right now that's providing advice, and they're going to keep you single, whether you're a man or a woman. So you want to listen to people who have your best interests at heart, and they are also in successful relationships. All right. Thank you very much for tuning in to Mrs. Danielle DeVita. Y'all take care.
Perk 101. So a lot of times women say that you can't afford me. And if you want to be a feminine woman, realize that you are not an escort. And committed relationships ought not to be transactional. As you rest in your femininity and learn your worth, you will realize that the men you are with should see you as invaluable and priceless like no other. And yes, you can have shopping sprees, 5-star dinners, and trips, but those things won't make you different. It won't set you apart. Things that are priceless and invaluable, money can't buy. Money can't buy peace in a relationship. Money can't buy your love. Money can't buy your joy, your joyful spirit. It cannot buy your gentleness, kindness, your self-control, is in controlling your emotions and how your responses to things, your personality, your attitude or mindset as a whole. If you notice, these are also fruit of the Spirit from the Bible, right? If you're looking to be a Proverbs 31 woman, you definitely want to make sure you have these. So if you're having talking points of you can't afford me, realize that these are talking points of a basic chick or a modern woman. You want to be different. So get on your feminine journey today. You can also visit MrsDanielleDeVita.com or visit me on other social media platforms.